Alright, now in the last lecture we have completed in terms of my male reproductive system. हमने यहाँ पे देख लिया था. We have understood all the accessory glands which you get to see in over there. और हमने यहाँ पे हमारे कुछ क्वेश्चन भी यहाँ पे सॉल्व कर लेते हैं. Right. So now from like आज हम करेंगे हमारे यहाँ पे female part and we have also started with the female part. थोड़ा सा हमने यहाँ पे start भी किया था. Now when we discuss the female reproductive part over here, you should know that there is going to be an ovary in which that's a primary sex organ in the females, which will lead to a formation of my ova formation. Then we also have like hormone secretion happening in the ovary, and those hormones are nothing but my estrogen, progesterone, other hormones. They are coming from this particular side. So now let's go into detail of all those things. So when we discuss about the female reproductive tract, we have just talked about the ovary, and now let's talk about something in terms of the uterus. So here you can see they have divided the uterus into three parts. So first of all, you have to know when you discuss something like a uterus is a site where you will find the implantation will takes place. अभी के लिए आप इतना याद रख लो कि यूट्रस आपका वो लोकेशन आपका जहां पे आपका होता है implantation of zygote. Something you already know that, but still implantation of zygote is something which will be happening in the uterus. There's one more thing you can know over here, and that one more thing is going to be कि आपका जो यूट्रस यहाँ पे रहेगा, that structure is going to be highly vascular. So it's going to be highly vascular region. Rather, let's do one thing. इसको हम बाद में देखते हैं. इसको हम बाद में करते हैं. जब मैं आपको तीनों अलग-अलग लेयर आपको बताऊंगा ना, then we'll see that. First of all, you can just see that you will have three layers. You have the innermost layer is my endometrium, then middle layer is called as my myometrium, and then the outermost layer is called as my perimetrium. So innermost आपके यहाँ पे आ रही है आपके endometrium, बीच वाली आपके myometrium है, and then you have a perimetrium. So we'll just see all the layers again after some time, right? Then we have the cervical canal, and then we have the vagina over here, and that is what we will find in the female reproductive tract. Okay. You have the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is going to have a length of around like 10 to 12 centimeter is the length of the fallopian tube. So 10 to 12 centimeter will be the length of the fallopian tube, and that is also called as my oviduct. इसको हम even बोलते हैं यहाँ पे as a oviduct. Now, once you start observing the female reproductive tract, you will get to realize that you have the fallopian tube. Now let's focus on the fallopian tube right now. You have the fallopian tube over here written, and this fallopian tube is going to have a length of around, as I've told you, 10 to 12 centimeter will be the length of the fallopian tube. Okay. Now within the fallopian tube, you will be finding three different areas. आपको यहाँ पे तीन different area आपको यहाँ मिल जाएंगे. जो लोअर मोस्ट या जो आपका एरिया होता है सबसे पास में ओवरी के. सो नाउ दिस पार्ट ऑफ द fallopian tube is closest to ovary is called as my infundibulum. Then you have the ampulla, and then you have the isthmus. याद रखना आपके ओवरी के सबसे पास में जो आपका एरिया आएगा fallopian tube का, that is my infundibulum. Now along with that, if you just pay attention, you can have some finger like projection which are called as my fimbriae. तो आपको यहाँ पे कुछ finger like projections आपको यहाँ पे मिल जाएंगे. And those finger-like projection which you will find over here are called as my fimbriae. अच्छा, someone has a concern क्या कुछ? So please use bright color for writing. All right, okay. ठीक है. उसको निकाल लेता हूँ यहाँ पे. अच्छा, now tell you something. Red will work for you. बता दो. I think this should work. Military school, which school it was? Sorry, I missed out your message. Yeah, military school Ludhiana. I hope it is. You are able to see this. Right. Let me know अगर वापस ये हो रहा है ना. अगर वापस अगर आपको कोई चीज दिख नहीं रही, then please let me know. I'll try to make sure that I'll be using a darker color. Okay. On black screen. Okay, on black screen. Yeah, on black screen also I will try to use a darker color. So I think a color like red is going to work for you, and I think even a color like dark green is going to work for you. Okay, but still बताना अगर वापस ऐसा हो रहा है, then please let me know. Thanks for sharing this. Okay, so you will find this finger-like projection will be seen over there, and this अच्छा screen ही दिख रही बेटा, सबको दिख रही है, बाकी सबको I think screen यहाँ पे दिख रही है. In case people are not able to see the screen, then please raise your hand or give me a thumbs up. Not give me a thumbs up, give me a raise of hand if screen is not able to be seen. Sangrur, I would suggest you can log in again. That will be or अच्छा, only Sangrur is not able to see the screen क्या? बेटा एक बार आप log out से log in कर सकते हो because other schools are able to see the screen. ठीक है, बट स्टिल फॉर यू इटसेल्फ आई जस्ट डू वन थिंग, मैं एक बार ये रीशेयर कर देता हूँ आपके लिए, बट एज फार एज आई नो बेटा इट इज फ्रॉम योर साइड विच यू हैव टू फिक्स दैट थिंग, बट स्टिल ठीक है. So I am assuming that now we'll be able to see the screen. ठीक है, all right. So now you have Fimri. Fimri is a finger-like projection over here, which you will find as a one of like at the terminal part of my fallopian tube. ये आपको यहाँ पे मिल जाएगा. That's a Fimri over here. ये Fimri जो आपके सामने यहाँ पे होगा ना, this Fimri will actually help in the like bringing the ova towards the ampulla or infundibulum. So basically आपके ova को collect करेगा. This finger-like projection will collect the ova and will push the ova towards the ampulla. So infundibulum से they will push the ova towards the ampulla. अब सवाल यहाँ पे ये आता है कि आपको जो fallopian tube है, this fallopian tube you have in front of you, you have these three regions. एक सवाल यहाँ पे ये आएगा, अच्छा someone has a question. हाँ जी बेटा बताइए. Sangrur still has a question. अच्छा, you are still not able to see the screen. Sangrur, I would strongly suggest you in that case, please log out and log in again. That is some kind of network issue from your side. Because I think other schools are able to see the screen. That's why. ठीक है. All right. So fallopian tube जो आपका यहाँ पे है, you have infundibulum, ampulla, and isthmus are the three regions you will find in this. Now, what is my fallopian tube is known for? ये क्या करता है आपका यहाँ पे? So fallopian tube is a site for my fertilization. तो ये याद रखना है यहाँ पे. Let me take down this thing. That fallopian tube is going to be a site for my fertilization. So this is going to be a site for fertilization. तो fertilization आपका यहाँ पे होगा. Fertilization आपका होता है यहाँ पे. So basically male gamete and female gamete will fuse in the fallopian tube. Now the question is कि fallopian tube में ये कहाँ पे fuse करते हैं? Then you should know that ampulla isthmus region. ये जो आपका region होता है ना आपका, जहाँ पे आपका ampulla आ रहा होता है, यहाँ पे isthmus over here. So ampulla isthmus वाला जो यहाँ पे region होता है, in this area you will find your fertilization will takes place. So precisely ampulla isthmus region is the site where I will be finding my fertilization of the ova will takes place. Okay. So that is something you have to know in terms of the fallopian tube as one of our part of the reproductive, like female reproductive part. Ovaries have been kept over here. Ovaries is something I've already told you. इनको हम वापस आगे देखते हैं. You will see the uterus. Uterus, as we have discussed, you will have a three layers: endometrium, myometrium, and perimetrium. Endometrium is the innermost layer. Endometrium is going to be innermost layer. Then there's going to be a cervix, cervical canal, and then there's going to be a vagina. Okay. Now, let's talk about. So this is from the like lateral view you can see of your female reproductive tract. You can see a few things over here. So we'll have a look at this picture again. After some time, we'll have a look at this picture again. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries, a pair of fallopian tube, uterus, and vagina. The external genitalia are located in the pelvic region. So there's something called as my external genitalia, which has been seen in the pelvic area of the female part. Okay. Now let's try to understand what you get to see in the ovary. Now, if I make a transverse section of the ovary, right, and if I observe the ovary, then what do I get to see? So ovary के center में, within the center of the ovary, you will have the region of the center of the ovary is called as my medulla. The center of the ovary has been always called as your something called as your medulla. The center part will be called as your medulla. And the peripheral part which you will be finding in the ovary, the peripheral part, the corner में जो आपको यहाँ पे peripheral part आपको यहाँ पे मिलेगा. Someone has a question, I guess. Still has a issue क्या? You have still facing the issue. Sangrur. Seems like that. Sangrur, there, if at all there is a network issue, it is from your side because I think other schools are able to see the screens. बाकी स्कूल बेटा I think यहाँ पे screens को देख पा रहे हैं. So I would rather ask the teacher coordinator over there just to have a look at that. Sometime if you have a weak network, then also this can happen. अगर कई बार अगर हमारा network weak होता है ना, तब भी ये आपके side पे हो सकता है. ठीक है? But I'm assuming that again that this is something which is happening with one of the only school. बाकी schools को यहाँ पे सब दिख रहा है. Right? So I'm still going to check the chat. Yeah, there it has to be a network issue from your side, beta. You will have to check that. One thing you can try again logging out and logging in. That is the only way you might possibly find getting this issue getting fixed. या आप network change करके आप देख सकते हो. अगर आपका Wi-Fi वहाँ पे connected है, then you can change the Wi-Fi over there and try to see that. So then you have outer part. So outer part of the ovary is going to be called as your cortex. So cortex and medulla are the two regions you'll find finding in the ovary, and ovary is the site where you will find the ova formation will happen. This is where the ova formation will take place. So ovaries are located on the each side of the lower abdominal. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeters in length and is connected to a pelvic wall and uterus by ligament. So it is connected to the pelvic wall and uterus with the ligament, and this is the size of the ovary, 2 to 4 centimeters. Now, this is something I was trying to tell you. You have the medulla in the center, and you will have the outer part is called as my cortex, right? Now, medulla part will be having a huge, like it will be seen, it will have the presence of your vascular and neurons. So it will have presence of the blood vessels and the neurons. So blood vessels and the neurons are seen in the medulla part. Blood vessels and the neurons are the one which is seen in my medulla part. Okay. So neurons and blood vessels have been seen in the medulla wala part. Right? So this is something you have to remember. So you have a medulla and you have a cortex region now. Then we have the uterus, something we have already told you. Now uterus, as I've told you this thing earlier as well, it will have like 3 parts. It will have the endometrium. So innermost part over here is going to be called as the innermost part, the most inner side will be called as my endometrium. Now, when you get a term like endometrium, you should know one thing very clearly. This is a site where the implantation will take place. अगर आपसे कोई पूछता है कि uterus में कहाँ पे होगा, then endometrium is a site where you will find the implantation will take place. This is where the implantation will occur. Right? Implantation of zygote occurs. There's one more thing you have to know that endometrium is a site where you will find it will have a good amount of blood vessels and your glands. So it is going to be highly vascular. So endometrium जो आपका यहाँ पर it's going to be highly vascular. It's going to be highly vascular. Right? And going to have presence of a glands, and number of glands have been seen over there. So you'll have number of glands have been seen. हम बेसिकली इससे डील कर रहे होते हैं बिकॉज ये क्योंकि हमारा जायगोट यहाँ पे इम्प्लांट कर रहा होता है तो हम आगे जाके इसके बारे में हम पढ़ेंगे. उसके बाद यू कैन हैव द you will be finding presence of the second layer, that's my myometrium. So after that you will have your myometrium, which is the middle layer, right? So myometrium is the middle layer, which is made of my smooth muscles. This is made of my smooth muscles. And then you have, after that you will have the outermost layer, that is going to be your epimetrium. So इसके बाद जो सबसे बाहर की जो आपकी लेयर यहाँ पे होती है, that layer over here is called as my epimetrium. Okay, so you'll have epimetrium, you have myometrium. This is going to be the outermost layer. Outermost. आपका मेन काम जो आप यहाँ पे रहेगा, that will be in terms of endometrium. That is something that you will be focusing on, right? So the lower and narrow part of the through which the uterus opens into vagina is the cervix. So cervix आपका वो point है जहाँ से आपका like you will find it will open into the vagina. Like it is a small section, small region from where the uterus will open into the vagina. The cavity of the cervix is called as my cervical canal, and cervical canal along with the vagina forms the birth canal. Cervical canal along with the vagina will be called as my birth canal. Okay, this is what you have to know over there. This is what you have to understand in this, right? One more thing I have to tell you, that implantation आपका generally आपका होता है uterus के अंदर. Implantation is something you will find always happening in the uterus and that in the endometrium. If at all implantation takes place somewhere else, let's assume if implantation happens in the fallopian tube. ये बात अभी याद रख लो that if at all, let's say, if implantation takes place anywhere other than uterus. If the implantation takes place anywhere other than the uterus, bracket में endometrium यहाँ पे लिख देता हूँ. If at all that happens, then such condition is called as my ectopic pregnancy. Such condition over there is called as your ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy. So if at all the implantation takes place anywhere else other than the uterus, right? For example, if the implantation takes place in the fallopian tube, अगर आपका fallopian tube यहाँ पे, then that is not a good thing. If at all that happens, you can call it as an ectopic pregnancy. And ectopic pregnancy के साथ problem ये होता है that it can lead to a spontaneous abortion, right? Or what you must have heard a term called as a miscarriage. So you can find a spontaneous miscarriage can happen if at all that is the case. So ectopic pregnancy के बारे में याद रखना, ये term का नाम आपका यहाँ पे ये होता है, the implantation is taking place at a certain location other than the uterus. And generally you find that happening in the fallopian tube. अगर ऐसा होता है, then there's a very likely chance that the developing fetus will get aborted. Developing fetus might get aborted after certain amount of time. तो ये एक term यहाँ पे याद रखना. There's one thing you have to know. Right, so these are the things we have seen. These are all the terms we have understood over here. And vagina is an area where you will find the sperms are getting deposited. So sperms will get deposited in that particular region. Right. So you have a perimetrium, external thin membrane, myometrium, right, layer of smooth muscles, and then you have an endometrium, layer of highly vascular and glandular connective tissue. That is something you will get to see. The vaginal orifice is partially covered by a mucous membrane called the hymen. So hymen is the small tissue which covers the vaginal orifice. Okay, now here you have to see a few things. You have a term like your female external genitalia. So let's try to understand what are the female external genitalia यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएंगे. So यहाँ पे कुछ terms है जो आपको यहाँ पे याद रखना है. You will have something like my labia majora. You have a labia minora. These are my female external genitalia. You have a clitoris. That is also going to be called as my female external genitalia. Now and you also have something called as a mons pubis. Mons pubis. Okay, so let me write it down over here. So you'll have your mons pubis. You'll have your labia minora. There's going to be a labia majora. And there's going to be clitoris. They are all called as my external genitalia in the females. Now, there's one thing you have to understand here is because इसमें से आपके क्वेश्चन जनरली आपके पिछले 4 साल में हमने यहाँ से क्वेश्चन आते ज्यादा यहाँ पे देखे नहीं है. But there are few things you have to know. Like clitoris is homologous to human penis, male penis. Clitoris is going to be homologous to. It is going to be homologous to male penis. That's one thing you have to know, right? Along with that, you will find all these female external genitalia are being seen nearby the vagina. They are being located nearby the vagina. You will find all these structures will be seen. Now, there is one more thing you have to understand that nearby the vagina, you will also find some important glands are there. So these are the structures you have to know which become a part of my external genitalia. ये पहले आप याद रखोगे. These are the structures of your external genitalia. They are the structure of my external genitalia. Remembering the names are going to be enough for you. Okay, but one thing you have to know that nearby the external genitalia, or I would say nearby the vagina, there are some glands. There are some glands, and those glands are going to release some kind of secretion. So you will have something like my Bartholin gland and vestibular gland. तो ये आपके यहाँ पे 2 gland आपके यहाँ पे हो जाते हैं, right? And you also have a skin gland. So these are something which you have to know. So first of all, because of the mucus secretion. So they will secrete the mucus. So they will have a mucus secretion. Now, generally, what you have to know here is, if at all you get a question like, which of these glands are located nearby the vagina or nearby the external genitalia, then your answer is going to be a Bartholin gland or Skin's gland. These are the two glands you can find nearby the vagina, and they will have a role of lubricating the vagina, and they are known to secrete the mucus. म्यूकस यहाँ पे सिक्रेट किया जाएगा, इनका काम होता है वजाइना को यहाँ पे लुब्रिकेट करना. तो ये टर्म्स आप यहाँ पे याद रखना. द वे वी वर द मेल्स ना एसिडिक ग्लैंड्स, वैसे ये ग्लैंड के नाम आप यहाँ पे याद रखोगे. दिस इज द ग्लैंड यू हैव टू. ओके, नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट माय, लेट्स चेंज द, अगेन वी हैव टू चेंज. ओके, अच्छा, you are not able to see the videos. अच्छा, Sangrur is still having the issue. Patiala is also getting some issues right now. Just wait a minute, people. All right. Okay. I'll make sure that I'll keep a dark color over here. Okay. Now let's talk about the mammary glands. Mammary glands यहाँ पे हम बात करते हैं, फटाफट इसको हम like यहाँ पे wrap up करते हैं mammary glands को. So when we discuss about the mammary glands, the first thing you have to know here is that mammary glands will have a function of formation of milk, and that will help in the nourishment of the newly born baby. So newly born baby का nourishment के लिए the mammary glands will form, the milk formation will be happening in that. अब milk formation जो आपको यहाँ पे किया जाएगा mammary glands के अंदर, this will be happening under the influence of the hormones. So याद रखना, there is a hormone which is involved over here, and the hormone which will promote the formation of milk is called as my prolactin. तो ये information भी आप अभी से याद रख लो, that prolactin is a hormone which will promote the formation of milk during the mammary gland. Promotes formation of milk. Now this milk formation in the females will happen in between the pregnancy, or I would say in the later part of the pregnancy, or at a when the parturition is going to be near now, at that point of time this mammary glands will start forming the milk, and that is something all happening because of the hormone that is my prolactin. So that's the first thing you have to know. Now when you talk about the mammary gland, you should know that it will have a deposition of the fats, and you will have a large amount of your lobules. So you will have around lobules, mammary lobules. So you get to see what you call it as a mammary lobules. So ये जो आपका अभी दिख रहे हैं सारे structures, we call them as a mammary lobules. So you will have around 15 to 20. You will have always 15 to 20 mammary lobules have been seen. 15 to 20 mammary lobules you will get to see in them. Now let me show you this in another picture. Right, let me show you over here. Okay, so first thing you have to know when you talk about mammary glands, so first of all you have a mammary lobules. Yeah, mammary lobes. Right, now these mammary lobules will be having a presence of a large cluster of cells. So mammary lobules which will have over here, they will have a large cluster of cells. So यहाँ पर क्या मिलेंगे? You will have a cluster of cells. Mammary lobules will have a cluster of cells. और ये जो cluster of cells आपको यहाँ पे मिलेंगे, ये cluster of cells को हम बोलेंगे यहाँ पे as a alveoli. This cluster of cells over there are called as my alveoli. तो पहले तो आप ये याद रखो कि आपके cluster of cells जो आपको वहाँ पे मिलते हैं, you call them alveoli, and they are connected to my mammary lobules. Now let me show this in the picture to you. So you can see over here, you can see the mammary lobule, right? और इसके आसपास ही, इसके अंदर ही आपको यहाँ मिलेंगे आपके यहाँ पे बहुत सारे cells, and those cells are called as my alveoli. And in those cells only you will be forming the milk formation will be seen happening over there. So now let's have a look in this. So mammary lobe, right? And यहाँ पे आपका alveolus लिखा हुआ है. They are the cells which you find over there, which are called as my alveoli. So milk formation, जो आपके यहाँ पे group of cell आपके यहाँ पे होंगे, उनके अंदर आपके यहाँ पे देखने के लिए आपके यहाँ पे मिल जाएगा. Now let's try to see other thing. Now alveoli will form the milk, right? From mammary lobules you will find, once the alveoli will form the milk from that side will go into the another duct, that is my mammary tubule. So याद रखना आपके यहाँ पे transport कैसे किया जा रहा है. From mammary lobules you will find the milk formation will go towards the mammary tubules. From mammary tubules the milk will go towards the mammary duct, and from the mammary duct it will go into the mammary ampulla, and then number of mammary ampulla will come together and will form the lacteriferous duct, and from the lacteriferous duct via nipple the milk will be oozing out from the body. So this is what you will be finding happening over here. राइट। सो मेमोरी लोब्यूल्स से याद रखना, मेमोरी ट्यूब्यूल्स, कई बार आपके सामने यही सवाल आएगा कि आपको इसे अरेंज करना है। सो मेमोरी लोब्यूल्स में याद रखना, यू विल हैव अ ग्रुप ऑफ सेल्स कॉल्ड एज एल्वेलाई। वहां पे मिल्क फॉर्मेशन होने के बाद इट विल गो इनटू द मेमोरी ट्यूब्यूल्स, ट्यूब्यूल्स से वो जाएगा आपके मेमोरी डक्ट के अंदर, डक्ट से इट विल गो इनटू द एम्प्यूला, एंड फ्रॉम एम्प्यूला इट विल गो टुवर्ड्स द लैक्टिक फेस डक्ट, एंड फ्रॉम देयर वाया आउटसाइड विल बी सेंट आउटसाइड थ्रू निपल आउटसाइड द बॉडी। सो दिस इज व्हाट यू फाइंड इन द मेमोरी ग्लैंड के अंदर। ये आपका यहाँ पे रहेगा आपका अरेंजमेंट। लेट्स हैव अ लुक। The glandular tissue of the breast is divided into like 15 to 20 memory lobules, right? Each memory lobe consists of a cluster of cells called as my alveoli. आपको cluster of cell आपको यहाँ पे दिख जाएंगे, कॉलम में alveoli over there. The cells of the alveoli secretes milk, which is stored in the lumen of the alveoli. So पहले हम milk formation यहाँ पे करके वहाँ पे आप store करते हो, but from there it will get inside the memory tubules, जो मैंने आपको यहाँ पे बताया था, it will get inside the memory tubules. From memory tubules, each of the lobe will join to form my memory duct. From that, it will get inside the memory duct, and several memory ducts will join to form my memory ampulla. तो कई सारे मेरे memory duct यहाँ पे आएंगे, will form the memory ampulla, and memory ampulla is connected to my lactiferous duct in the nipple through which the milk is sucked out by the baby. Sangrur, you have a network issue on. बेटा आपके साइड पे आपका एक network issue है ये, so you'll have to check that. ठीक है? That is why you are only able to see the audio, not the visual things. Okay. So this is what you find happening. तो ये अरेंजमेंट आपको यहाँ पे याद रखना है कि आपके मेमोरी लोब्यूल से लेके लैक्टिफेस डक्ट का आपका चैनल यहाँ पे क्या है, ये चैनल आपको यहाँ पे हमेशा याद रखना है. You can find question coming from that, right? So formation of milk के लिए you will have a prolactin as a hormone which is involved. There is one more thing I want to tell you. You should know this. Secretion of milk के लिए आपका एक अलग हार्मोन होता है. Secretion of milk की मैं बात करूंगा यहाँ पे. If I talk about my secretion of milk, तो secretion of milk करने के लिए जो आपका यहाँ पे हार्मोन इन्वॉल्व होगा, that will be your oxytocin. Oxytocin. तो ये याद रखना. Formation of milk, you will be having prolactin. Let me write it down again. This thing over here. Yeah, with the so formation of milk. When we talk about formation of milk, this will include, this will be happening with the help of your prolactin. And when I talk about secretion of milk, that will be happening because of the oxytocin. This will be happening because of the oxytocin. Right? This is what you have to do over there. This is what you have to understand of this. ठीक है? तो ये मेरे दो हार्मोन है और ये दोनों हार्मोन मेरे यहाँ पे एक रोल प्ले करेंगे. Like these are the hormones and the role with the mammary gland is something should be clear to all of you. So that is your mammary gland and these are the few things you have to know in the mammary gland. Okay. Now let's solve some questions over here. Question आपको यहाँ पे दिख पा रहा है, आपको लेबल करना है यहाँ पे. You just have to do the labeling over here. So tell me what is my 3, 4, 1, 2, 5 जो भी आपका यहाँ पे है, इसकी लेबलिंग आपके यहाँ पे क्या सही आ जाएगी. So see, have a look over here and tell me what can be the correct labeling over here. बताइए. I hope everyone can see the picture. You can see the question. Take your time and tell me what is the correct labeling I can see in this. चलो आपकी मैं थोड़ी यहाँ पे हेल्प कर देता हूँ. ऑप्शन ए को मैं हम यहाँ पे देखते हैं. तो ऑप्शन ए आपके यहाँ पे कह रहा है दैट 2 इज द एंडोमेट्रियम. अब आप देखो यहाँ पे कि 2 आपका जो लेबल क्या हुआ है, दैट इज द आउटर मोस्ट पार्ट. अब आउटर मोस्ट पार्ट आपका कैसे होगा आपका एंडोमेट्रियम? तो ऑप्शन ए तो मेरे यहाँ पे कभी होएगा ही नहीं सही. यहाँ पे 2 ही यहाँ पे आपका गलत यहाँ पे मैच करा हुआ है. सो ये तो मेरा हट गया, राइट. देन यू हैव अ लुक एट द ऑप्शन बी. यहाँ पे ऑप्शन बी आपका क्या करेगा, 3 इज माई इन्फेंटिबुलम. सो 3 यहाँ पे इन्फेंटिबुलम, हाँ ये हो सकता है, दैट्स ट्रू बिकॉज द क्लोजेस्ट टू माई ओवरी इज माई इन्फेंटिबुलम, राइट. सो दैट्स ट्रू, ये तो मेरा यहाँ पे सही है. 4th इज योर फिमरी है, फिंगर लाइक स्ट्रक्चर, ये बात भी आपके यहाँ पे सही है. 4th इज योर फिमरी ओवर हियर, दैट्स आल्सो ट्रू. एंड 5th इज गोइंग टू बी द सर्विक्स. तो 5th जो आपका एग्जाम का है, दैट्स योर सर्विक्स ओवर हियर. तो यस, मेरा ऑप्शन बी बनेगा यहाँ पे एज अ करेक्ट आंसर. मेरे यहाँ पे सही लेबलिंग मुझे यहाँ पे मिल चुका है. सो दैट इज वन थिंग यू हैव टू नो, राइट. आप ऑप्शन सी यहाँ पे देख लो, भी आपको गलत है यहाँ पे आपका. यू कैन सी द 4th वन इज माय ओविडक्ट फनल, राइट. 5th इज गोइंग टू बी यूट्रस, ये सब आपके यहाँ पे गलत आ रहा है. सो दैट्स नॉट अ करेक्ट मैच ओवर हियर, राइट. 1 is perimetrium, 2 is going to be endometrium, ये भी आपका गलत हो जाएगा. 1 is going to be endometrium has to be, so ये भी आपका यहाँ पे गलत हो जाएगा. So option B over here becomes my correct answer. This one, the part of a fallopian tube closest to the ovary is going to be what? ये तो कर सकते हो आप लोग, ये तो स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड सिंपल सवाल है. द पार्ट ऑफ द fallopian tube जो आपका क्लोज है आपका ओवरी से, बताइए क्या होगा इसका आंसर यहाँ पे. ए बी सी डी. द पार्ट ऑफ द fallopian tube which is closer to the ovary. You can answer in the chat, people. You can answer in the chat. अरे आप भूल गए, इतने जल्दी आप भूल गए. आप याद करो यहाँ पे बेटा. We have done this thing, ना? What we have done this. We'll have a finger leg projection over there. ठीक है. तो जब ये आपका fallopian tube था, यहाँ पे अज्यूम करते कि हमारे यहाँ पे ओवरी है. यहाँ पे अज्यूम करते हमारा. Assume this is the ovary over here. Right? This is going to be one of the ovary. This is your ovary. Now, if you see the fallopian tube, ये finger leg projection तो यहाँ पे हो जाएगा आप मेरा फिमरी. This is going to be a फिमरी. Right? ये तो चलो आपका फिमरी है. Finger leg projection आपके यहाँ पे फिमरी हो जाएगा. Then, if you talk about the fallopian tube will have three parts. The first part of the fallopian tube is going to be your infundibulum. Infundibulum. Right? इसके बाद जो अगला पार्ट आप, the next part of the fallopian tube is going to be your ampulla. And then after that, on the upper side of the fallopian tube, you will have presence of the isthmus. Then you will have the isthmus. ये अरेंजमेंट आपका होता है ना बेटा हमेशा. यहाँ पे आपके will have infundibulum, then you will have ampulla, and then you will have the isthmus. अगर आपसे पूछा जा रहा है कि the part of the fallopian tube closest to the ovary, तो आपका आंसर अब यहाँ पे क्या आएगा? कौन सा पार्ट है आपका यहाँ पे जो आपका ओवरी के पास में? Which part is going to be closer to the ovary? अब बता दो. It is going to be your infundibulum. This is going to be your infundibulum over here. यहाँ पे आपका आंसर जो आएगा वो आपके यहाँ पे infundibulum आपके यहाँ पे होगा. आई होप सबको मेरी यहाँ पे आवाज आ रही है. आंसर काफी लेट आया बेटा आप लोगों का, बहुत ही लेट आया. काफी आराम से आंसर है आपका. चलो कोई बात नहीं, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन करना सही से. Seminal plasma in human is rich in. ध्यान से देखो and then raise your hand to like answer in the chat. Seminal plasma in human is rich in what? आपका जो seminal plasma होता है ह्यूमंस के अंदर, वो किस में आपका यहाँ पे रिच होता है? अच्छा आपने आंसर करे हुए बट आई कैन नॉट सी दैट. ओके. So you will find seminal plasma in human is going to be rich in your fructose, calcium and certain enzymes. बिल्कुल सी बात है. So it will have a fructose, calcium and your certain enzymes should be seen. Right. Bartholin gland are situated where? Bartholin gland आपके यहाँ पे कहाँ पे आपको मिल जाएंगे? Again you can answer this. चलिए सबको इसका आंसर यहाँ पे दे सकते हैं. Bartholin gland आपको कहाँ पे मिल जाएंगे? Received the answer from Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Patiala has also answered this. Talwara, all of you are answering, and yes, on the either side of the vagina, you'll have a Bartholin gland, which will have a secretion of the mucus, and that mucus is going to lubricate the vagina. So that's going to be called as a Bartholin gland. Male hormone is produced in the testes by the cells of. Male hormones are produced in the testes by the cells of. Something we have done this. Quickly answer this. आगे बढ़ते हैं. It is going to be your Leydig cells. बिल्कुल सही. ये वाला आंसर बताओ यहाँ पे 14 का आंसर बताओ. Location and secretion of Leydig cells are. Location and secretion of Leydig cells are. Location क्या होता है और हाँ. Right. This over here is called as my option C. So testes and testosterone is going to be the correct answer in this. Okay, now this question. Sertoli cells are found in. Sertoli cells आपको कहाँ पे देखने के लिए मिल जाते हैं? Alright, काफी जल्दी आप लोगों ने यहाँ पे आंसर कर दिया. And yes, that's going to be your option C. अब मेरा सवाल यहाँ पे ये है. Now tell me something. Think and tell me. When we talk about the testes are known to have number of chambers. Testes are known to have a large number of chambers over there. These chambers within the testes are called as what? ये testes के अंदर आपको यहाँ पे chambers आपको मिल जाते हैं. आप इनको हम क्या बोलते हैं? You call them as a testicular lobules. So you call them as testicular lobules. मुझे इतना बता दो आप यहाँ पे कि ये जो testicular lobules आपके यहाँ पे होते हैं, this testicular lobules जो आपके यहाँ मिलेंगे, these lobules will have how many lobules I will be finding in the testes? ये जो lobules है आपके जो lobes आपको यहाँ पे मिलते हैं, इनका नंबर कितना होता है? Right, इनका नंबर यहाँ पे कितना रहेगा? What is the number you will get to see in them? Okay, very good. 250. Right. So 200, 250 is the number which we'll be finding over here. And in a single lobule, I will find around 1 to 3 seminiferous tubule I'll be finding over there. So 1 से 3 मुझे यहाँ पे seminiferous tubule मुझे यहाँ पे मिल जाएंगे. So ये आपका आंसर यहाँ पे आप सबका सही है. Right. The function of a secretion of prostate gland is what? इनमें से क्या होता है मेरे यहाँ पे function? Like when the prostate gland will have a secretion जो करेगा यहाँ पे, उसका function यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Right, true. It will stimulate the sperm activity. बढ़िया. मुझे बताइए आप लोग यहाँ पे you have a seminal vesicle, you have a prostate gland, you have a bulbourethral gland. इनमें से कौन सा ग्लैंड होता है जो बेसिकली न्यूट्रलाइज करता है यूरेथ्रा को? Which of the three gland is known to neutralize the urethra? Which of the three gland is known to neutralize the urethra? आपको अगर कोई ऑप्शन शॉर्ट में लिखना हो तो भी आप लिख सकते हो कि आपने लिख दिया very good Miradre School Jalandhar. That's true. It is going to be your bulbourethral gland. So आप BR भी लिख सकते थे. This is your bulbourethral gland जो आपका न्यूट्रलाइज करता है आपके यूरेथ्रा को वहां पे by secretion of the mucus. बताओ क्वेश्चन को खुद से पढ़ो and then give me the correct answer. Read the question by yourself and then tell me the correct answer. Right. Schools are answering over here are going to be correct answers. Yes. जो भी आप यहाँ पे आंसर दे रहे हो आपका सही है यहाँ पे. The temperature is going to be around like 2 degrees Celsius or 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius than the normal body temperature. इस टेम्परेचर के ऊपर आप अपना यहाँ पे like you want the testes to be kept in this kind of temperature. Carefully answer this. Carefully देखो इसे यहाँ पे and then give me the correct answer. The female genitalia, external genitalia includes what? इनमें से कितने आपके ऑप्शन है which are actually a part of my female external genitalia? Okay, people are answering. अभी तक आंसर आया नहीं है. बताओ क्या होगा इसका आंसर यहाँ पे? Female external genitalia includes what? क्वेश्चन ही विजिबल नहीं है. ऐसे कैसे विजिबल नहीं है? मेरा बाकी लोगों को दिख गया. थोड़ा पास में लैपटॉप के. हाँ नोट करके बोलो अगर कुछ बोलना हो तो. अच्छा क्वेश्चन इज नॉट विजिबल. ओह अच्छा. Some of the people are not able to see the question. Okay, maybe it's because of a. All right, कोई बात नहीं. ठीक है. क्वेश्चन में आपके यहाँ पे पूछा गया कि यहाँ पे कुछ ऑप्शंस हैं and they have asked the question about the which of them are my female external genitalia and yes, mons pubis, labia majora and my clitoris are my female external genitalia. So my option 3, 4 and 5 is going to be a correct answer. All right, ठीक है. चलो. Certainly cells are found in this something we have already done. So yeah, we are done with this. So these are the questions we have solved and this is what we have covered, right? So now we have an understanding of my male and female reproductive part. जब हम लोग कल वापस मिलेंगे, so we'll start with the gametogenesis. So gametogenesis will be taking some amount of time. So we'll start with the male gametogenesis and we'll try to cover that as well and we'll try to solve more number of questions. So हमारा rule यहाँ पे simple रहेगा to cover a portion quickly and then to solve a more number of questions. So that is something we'll do in the next class, right? So alright, that is what we have done. So if anyone has any kind of question, please go ahead and ask your questions यहाँ पे. अगर किसी का कोई सवाल है, then please अपने सवाल आप यहाँ पे पूछ सकते हो. I would strongly recommend to keep on solving questions. MCQ solve करिए, NCERT पढ़िए. That's what you have to do with every chapter. And yeah, these are the 2 chapters which do have plenty of questions. करना होंगे आप. Alright, ठीक है. Increase the thickness of the pen. Alright, I'll do that. I'll ensure to increase the thickness of the pen. मैं वो कर लूँगा. Okay. Surely I'll make sure that next time onwards, tomorrow onwards, you'll have a more thickness of the pen. Yes, I'll make sure that happens. Alright, if you have any question, you can ask a question. अगर कोई आपका सवाल यहाँ पे नहीं है, then